So there you have it, 6 players eliminated, all in separate rounds, and each of them goes home with a unique chunk of change. The least that Scrub can go home with after today's series is over is $1,000, while Fairy's minimum is $1,200. Their series today though is worth $500 by itself, and only one of them can take that, as well as the MN5K Championship. I've decided that since today is a bit more serious, to leave Brian out of the script. He's just been a bit weird today. I don't really know what to do with him. I think what Brian meant to say is thank you one last time to our tournament sponsor, Gift Your Game, for putting up the full prize pool for the tournament. You'll want to check them out and their free app if you haven't already, so you can start clipping your favorite gameplay moments from Rocket League as well as other popular games. And now, on to the Gauntlet Grand Final. Scrubkilla, the challenger today, used to be the undisputed king of Rocket League 1v1, but times have changed, and so has the head that the crown now sits on.
The final series of this year's Mannfield Night League has arrived, and with it has come the league's top 2 competitors. First up, we have the second place finisher in league play, and the one's legend himself, Scrubkilla. Across the pitch from him, we have the first place finisher of league play, and the unstoppable force, who has yet to drop a single series in this league thus far, Fairy Peak. The winner of this series goes home a champion. Good luck to you both.
It's time for his nemesis in another best of 7 series. Scrub has only ever beaten Fairy in one series, which was a best of 3, and then later that day he lost in the grand final of that same tournament to Fairy. That's a good save by Scrub to get things started. He's looking to transition quickly into the counter-attack. Fairy Peak is in the wave once again though. It really does have a ridiculous record against Scrub, Fairy Peak. You know, it started off with close series wins when they first matched up, and then it became more and more one-sided the more times they played. Is this the day that Scrubkilla can finally get the win that he's been hunting for so long? Biggest win he ever had over Fairy Peak was, of course, 12 Titans Year 2. Fairy Peak looking for a low 50-50, and he gets the first goal. Scrubkilla getting a little bit ahead of himself here. It's going to be difficult to stop everything that Fairy Peak has at his disposal. He loves to drop the ball off the top of his car into bounce dribbles sometimes and then shoot immediately. It's also got some of the best, most controlled Batmobile flicks I've ever seen. Scrubkilla couldn't get the open net after a good challenge. He's still pressuring though, and he will get a boost steal. Fairy Peak playing this one close to his car, doesn't want to give Scrubkilla a free possession. You know, even though Fairy Peak had almost no boost, he still manages to put a somewhat threatening shot on net. This could be a chance over Scrubkilla, and he will put in a quick shot before Fairy can get back to tie up the game. A good start for Scrub. He's not been decimated in the first minute, which is important. Remember that Scrubkilla actually struggled in kickoffs against Ocelon in the semi-final here. That's a good save by Scrub. He's almost been demoed by Fairy afterwards, but he puts an absolute boomer on net from the halfway line. Fairy Peak was running back as fast as he could, but he just couldn't get in the way of that one. That's an outrageous shot, 119 kilometers an hour. Scrubkilla takes the lead. He means business today. He just needs to think of this series as 7 best of 1s instead of 1 best of 7. And that flip reset is a statement and a half by Scrub. Fairy Peak will have to bring his A game because Scrub Kill has brought his, at least so far. What will Fairy Peak do to respond? You know he's probably not going to dig into his bag of tricks and pull out something too fancy, although he can. He doesn't usually go for things like that. Wave dash demo by Scrub to make it 4-1 though. And he's making Fairy look second best right now in many departments of the game. Great pace by Scrub. Great choice of shot as well. There wasn't really any risk to what he just did. Wave dash by Scrub, but Fairy Peak beats him to the boost. And Fairy Peak's probably just going to, for now, try to keep Scrub in defense. Put a couple of flicks and shots on net. That's a bit uncharacteristic though. Fairy Peak has just smashed the post and given Scrub Killer a counter-attack goal. And how unusual is that? Fairy Peak in that position most of the time will find a way to put an awkward shot on net. Maybe it goes in, maybe it doesn't, and if it doesn't, he'll grab the 100 boost and then try again and again and again until he eventually scores. But for him to attack and only get one opportunity and miss it that badly is really not what you would expect from him. Scrub Killer has another open net shot and he's going to put that one in for 6-1. A really, really strong start to the first game here for Scrub. This will bring him so much confidence going forwards. So he knows better than anybody else that Fairy Peak's had his number in the past, but he also knows that there have been series which he really could have won against Fairy if he had just managed to play a little bit differently in the final games, the closing stages of those matches. And he'll also be remembering, of course, that he's got that 12 Titans Year 2 Grand Final win over Fairy, and perhaps the most interesting note about that, good save by Scrub by the way, is that before that Grand Final, Fairy Peak offered Scrub to make a deal, the $10,000 prize pool to be split instead of winner takes all. He offered Scrub Killer 70-30% split. And Scrub Killer said no, let's make it 90-10, and then went on to win the game. One of the most baller moves I've seen in Rocket League, and it wasn't even in the game. Scrub with a 5-goal lead now. 2 minutes left, but Fairy Peak makes it 4. Scrub Killer caught sleeping a little bit as he comes off the wall. Taking a little bit too long to control that one. He wanted the boost and the ball. Fairy Peak doesn't want to give him both. Scrub still has a strong lead here. He doesn't need to panic at all. He's going to take this into the air. This is just so impressive how reliable Scrub's air dribbles have been so far this tournament. And, you know, in the meta game, where air dribble bumps have been so popular, where flip resets have been so popular, it's making standard air dribbles more deadly. So how do you beat a flip reset? You challenge early. What do you not do against air dribbles? Don't challenge. You don't want to challenge early. That's what Fairy did right there, maybe expecting a flip reset. Scrub just puts it over the top of him. It's still going to be a 4-goal game though. Good aerial speed by Fairy to keep Scrub in check. 1 minute and 35 on the clock. Scrub Killer hanging on here. Fairy Peak looking for a goal straight after the kickoff. He's got it underneath Scrub, but Scrub just hangs on to it. And look at that by Scrub. He's just going to back up into Fairy and waste some time, but he's given Fairy the 100 boost. And now here comes Fairy with a double touch, making a triple. He's just missed it wide of the target. And we're starting to see the kind of strangling play style that Fairy loves to do there. That's dangerous for Scrub. He doesn't want to let Fairy do that to him if he can avoid it. Here comes Fairy once again. He needs a goal pretty soon to keep the game alive, and he will get one. 1 minute and 1 second on the clock, and Fairy Peak gets another goal going low on a challenge. Scrub Killer expecting a flick. Not for the first time this series. Fairy Peak goes underneath him. Inside the final minute, Fairy Peak with another possession play, but it's a bit awkward. He's going to shoot this one early. It's not a bad shot, but Scrub Killer with a quick recovery does get the save. He's definitely the heavy favourite to win from this position now that the kickoff play has developed this far. But Fairy Peak has him on the ropes again, and he will get another goal to make it 2. And at this rate, Fairy Peak might have a chance to come back here. Scrubkiller must be ever so slightly worried. Fairy Peak is such a clutch player. He really does play almost to perfection at the end of games, knowing exactly how far to push his luck and how many risks he needs to take. Scrubkiller going to waste time here. This is really smart by Scrub. He does not want to give Fairy Peak a single touch on the ball before 0 seconds. That is how you win with a 2-goal lead. You don't need to score, you just need to keep away, and Fairy Peak's been forced out of position. As a result, Scrubkiller gets the W. Well played to run it into his own back corner instead of attacking with 20 seconds left. So who knows, if Scrub attacks there with 20 seconds left on the clock and Fairy Peak gets a strong challenge, it could just be a goal for Fairy, and then you're back into a kickoff situation as well, which would be less than ideal. Scrubkiller can't get another goal to make it 10, but he will get the first game in the series. It's 1-0 to Scrub in the best of 7. Game 2, Scrub in the blue. It was a comeback in the semi-final against Ocelon from 2 games down that Scrub had to make it into this game. Can he force Fairy Peak into the same position? Of course, you won't want to allow Fairy to come back when he gets there, but a 2-game lead would be ideal for Scrub to start off this series. I don't even know, if you ask Scrub if he would consider himself the favourite in a best of 7 against Fairy with a 1-0 lead, I don't know what he would tell you. That's a good save by Scrub. Fairy Peak lurking, looking for spoils, but Scrubkiller with a counter-attack. Look at the speed by Scrubkiller. He's not done, but he might have to turn around quickly because Fairy Peak is now looking to attack him. It's another good stop by Scrubkiller. He's keeping his eye on what Fairy's doing. I do reckon that from this position it's a pretty much even series because Fairy does have the advantage historically. But if you give Scrub a 1-game advantage, I think that's about even now in terms of who's the favourite to win this. Of course, we'll have to wait and see how the rest of the series develops. Maybe this is Scrub's day, or maybe it's just another day in the life of Fairy. He's got to save an aerial from Scrub, but he does so quite easily. Scrubkiller moves in for a disrupted touch. Half flips back onto his goal line and straight away gets a save and then recovers so smoothly. This is just outrageous by Scrubkiller. That recovery after the save was so clean. Fairy Peak didn't even back down. He could have taken control of the ball against pretty much anyone else, but Scrubkiller just follows the ball exactly as it moves. And he's got a 2-goal lead. Another good start for Scrub, and he's got Fairy on the back foot again. This is a really strong position for Scrubkiller. Can he work it into his favour? Still has Fairy on the ropes. He's looking to put it round about him, but Fairy's in the way. Bump off the wall by Scrub. Fairy Peak doesn't really get hit by it too much. I like that Scrub didn't go up for that rebound. That would have been a way for Fairy to score if Scrub had. Instead, he's waited for Fairy's touch and then beaten him to the ball. Not once, but twice. And he does get the 2-goal lead. And it's a much slower game than the first one. Not many goals going in. Lots of back and forth in the midfield. Fairy Peak with another kickoff goal attempt. Scrubkiller saves it, recovers, and gets the clear. It's been all about those recoveries this game for Scrub. No point getting a save if you're going to land badly. He's read Fairy well here. Closes the gap. Looks for the long shot, but it's going to land straight on Fairy's back wall. And that will be the first goal for Fairy. It's a misplay by Scrub that opens the door for the Frenchman. That does not bode well. Scrub needs to play an almost perfect series if he wants to win this. Fairy Peak taking another chance straight from the kickoff. He's got Scrub very, very awkwardly positioned, but Scrub gets a save again. Fairy, I must say, is not looking too confident in his shooting ability. I would have liked to see a shot there from him. Just to test Scrub Killer, keep him guessing perhaps. Here comes a shot, and it will be good enough to make it in. Fairy Peak this time does find the back of the net. It's just good power, just simple stuff from Fairy again. It doesn't need to be fancy to be effective. He's just got Scrub guessing there. Scrub's wondering, is this going to be a shot across my goal, or is Fairy going to somehow put this in the top corner above my head? He doesn't want to commit too early, and in doing so ends up committing too late. Just commits early enough here. Doesn't quite get the boost on spawn. It's Fairy Peak dictating the flow of the game at the moment. And he's in full control. Side flip shot. Makes it past Scrub, who's way out of position. And just like that, Fairy Peak takes the lead. It didn't take much. But he needed to get maximum power on that shot, or else it wouldn't have ran away from Scrub. So well played by Fairy not to mess that one up. But it's all the Frenchman now. Full control. Scrub Killer struggling to get involved in any way, but now he's got a chance with a wall shot. Fairy Peak in an awkward position. Scrub decides not to go for the dunk, instead loops around and puts the rebound on target. It's going to be the second one to go in. It's a crossbar saved the first, but the bump by Scrub kept the chance alive. Fairy Peak would have had a save there. Scrub bumps him and even catches Fairy off guard. Fairy was trying to dodge away from it, but he's flipped on the spot. That kickoff goal for Fairy is going to open up the 1-goal game again. And this is a problem that Scrub had against Ocelon. Fairy just getting a bit too high on the ball for Scrub to handle. 1 minute and 14 left. Can Fairy close out the game and tie up the series? It's looking likely. He's in such control right now, and a flick is going to make it 5-3. And what do you do if you're Scrub Killer in this position? It's really quite difficult to read what Fairy's planning. He hides his hand until it's too late. And unless Scrub can make a 2-goal comeback here, it's going to be Fairy Peak winning the second game. It looks like he's getting another goal for free. Scrub Killer's gone for boost again. That's probably the biggest problem that Scrub's had this game, is the boost runs for the corner 100 pads when he really should not be going for them. He's done that 2 times that have led to Fairy Peak scoring. So if you subtract both of those, you only have a 1-goal lead for Fairy, although I do think that the second boost run that Scrub made, although it made sure that Fairy was going to score, it was pretty likely that Fairy would score either way, or at least put a good shot on net. 32 seconds for Scrub. He needs a goal right now. He's got an open net. It's a tough one, but he should get it, and he's actually just hit the post. It's a bit of a disastrous game for Scrub Killer. Fairy Peak hits the post at the other end on an open net of his own, but it doesn't matter because he's already ahead by 3. Scrub Killer has to barrel straight down the middle. There's no other way to win this game than speed, and it's not going to happen. Fairy Peak has done it, and he will take game 2 in this series and tie us up. The best of 7 in the grand final has just become a best of 5. Fairy Peak is looking in control. Game 3. You must think this has to be a win for Scrub. If he goes behind in this series, it's going to be so difficult to come back. He's going to go to the air to start things off, and he's had to go off the wall to keep the chance alive, but Fairy Peak does get in the way. Side flip shot, wide of Scrub's net. The power shots from Fairy are looking deadly at the moment. Scrub Killer decides not to fly after this one, but he will wait and see if Fairy's going to miss. But look at this from Fairy Peak. Has he just put another one on target? Yes, he has. And the power on Fairy's shooting is looking so impressive. He wave dashes into position before Scrub's ready, and he takes a 1-goal lead. It's been so simple for Fairy so far. He hasn't had to do anything out of the ordinary for him, although everything he does is out of the ordinary for most Rocket League players. But he's still controlling the possession after the majority of kickoffs and keeping Scrub in defense a lot longer than Ocelon was able to do on most of his offensive pressuring plays. It's just non-stop aggression by Fairy. Scrubkiller being forced to invest a lot of boost and time to save these shots. Then Fairy comes around and makes an efficient stop of his own. Scrubkiller looking for a rebound, but it's a bit too slow. It was awkward. The ball kicked off the wall much more than Scrub thought. So he looks for the pinch. Actually just a double touch off the floor. That's unbelievable by Scrub. It's not even the first time he's done that this tournament. So few players do that deliberately, far less in 1v1. Here comes Fairy Peak with a flick to the top corner. Scrub with a great save. And he needs more of those, because you know that there's going to be more top corner flicks for Fairy as well. Scrubkiller beats Fairy to the ball again. This is the one thing that's really shining bright for Scrubkiller right now, is his speed. He has not been let down by that yet this series. He needs to keep it in check though. If he makes any runs for 100 boost pads when Fairy's about to shoot, that could be a disaster. He does have 100 right now. Here comes Fairy. And unlike most other players in this tournament, he doesn't just immediately start an air dribble. He waits for the challenge and then perfectly puts the ball over the top and into the very roof of the net. You don't need to air dribble from these positions to score. You just need to have a bouncing ball and an idea of what you're going to do if you see your opponent challenging. Scrubkiller with a kickoff goal attempt. Fairy Peak saves it. Scrubkiller does get the boost for his trouble though. Now Fairy Peak, it's a bit of an awkward spot. Is he going to be able to escape conceding here? Scrubkiller very, very close to the ball, but he puts it in just as soon as it's available. This time Fairy Peak was the one panicking a little bit. He didn't know if Scrub was planning to go up earlier, so he had to pop it and hope for the best. When I say the best, I mean he's hoping that Scrub will go up for it and then be out of the game just long enough for Fairy to get boost, but Scrub played it quite patiently. That's a weak shot for Scrubkiller. The quality of striking is definitely in the lead right now for Fairy. Another weak shot by Scrub, but he looks like he can catch this and get another save the last second, making a lap around his box for small boost pads. But Fairy Peak is inching closer and closer to his goal without taking himself out of the game as well. Scrubkiller does go for the 100 boost in Fairy's corner. He needs to be careful here. Fairy Peak has beaten into the air this time. Scrub catches Fairy with the demo from behind. And now he's got a really good chance. Fairy Peak spawned left side. That's the side Scrub's coming from, but he's flicked it into the crossbar. He has to recover quickly now, and he will. 2 minutes left. We're all tied up in this game and the series. Fairy Peak messes up his flick. Scrubkiller decides to go off the wall. He's still got a lot of boost to play with. He doesn't have enough to get it over the top of Fairy, and now he's running away to his goal. He knows the shot is imminent. Can he survive another Fairy Peak pressure play? He doesn't have much boost to do it. Fairy actually could have gone for a demo on Scrub there, as he was dodging pretty close to him. He decides not to, and hang on a second. Scrubkiller, oh my goodness, he almost had a goal, but Fairy saved it in the smoke. Such a small opening for Scrubkiller. Needed another touch. He avoids the demo in his own defensive corner. Can he get this ball back into offense? Another demo for Scrub. That might be the chance. He's got an open net, and he will put it in before Fairy can get back. It's a minute on the clock, and Scrub's in the lead. And the difference maker was a couple of demos. That's what Scrub starting to sneak into his play. But hang on a second. Fairy Peak with a kickoff goal, a chance. He's got 2 touches on it, but misses. That might be the biggest mistake we've seen yet from Fairy. But he doesn't panic, he doesn't choke, he doesn't tilt. He turns around and puts the next shot past Scrubkiller. And that is exactly what a champion would do. You don't need to worry about what's happened in the past. Just focus on what you're doing now, and that's always been Fairy's mantra. Such a difficult player to tilt. So consistent. Scrubkiller tries to force one underneath. Fairy Peak gets a touch. Fairy Peak's actually overstepped the mark here with not much boost. He needs to be careful. Scrubkiller could make a fast track to his goal. What's Scrub going to do here? It's going to be another last second flick, but Fairy gets a save. More bumps and demos in Scrub's mind. And he gets a win on the ball to Fairy. Wow, it's going to hit the post and Fairy recovers. Scrub is outpacing Fairy a significant amount of the time, but hang on a second. Fairy Peak setting up the hook shot. It's going to be a pass to himself off the near post, and he hits the post again. Third time lucky for Fairy. And a nightmare for Scrub. He thought for sure that Fairy Peak was going to shoot that on target, and he probably thought that Fairy Peak would shoot the open net on target as well, but he got it in after 2 passes to himself off the post, and just like that, he wins game 3. Fairy Peak always finds a way. Game 4. Can Scrubkiller rebound from what has to be one of the most tilting moments of his entire tournament? Losing such a close game to Fairy in the final seconds. Just talking last game about how untiltable Fairy is. I think everybody watching is aware of the fact that Scrub is quite tiltable to the contrary. Fairy Peak almost pinches that one in on the ground, but Scrubkiller now on the counter attack. He can't get that one on target. Beats Fairy to the boost though, and he's trying now to rebound it in. And he will actually get a goal. Fairy Peak caught off guard by Scrubkiller's ambitious wall play. Don't think he realised that Scrub was going to go up for that one until it was too late. Scrubkiller starts well in game 4. How important might that be? He doesn't go for the 100 boost in Fairy's corner this time. That's also one of the keys for Scrub if he wants to hang with Fairy today, not to get baited. Going for boost over ball. Fairy Peak back in his favourite position. He's at the edge of the box with an air dribble to the top shelf, and he can do it if he wants to. You know, some people think that Fairy doesn't know how to air dribble, that he doesn't know how to double touch and ceiling shot and flip reset and all the other things you might see other players doing in this tournament, because he doesn't have to. He's so good at the simple stuff that he doesn't need to do that. But he can if he wants to, and this time he does. And he's going to flick it from close range to make it 2-1. Scrubkiller does not know what to do against Fairy Peak's close range ball control. It's just the perfect mix-up from Fairy. Sometimes he forces the ball low, sometimes he flicks it powerfully from close range. Other times he just shoots on the first bounce. You never know what you're going to get, and it's so hard to defend all the options. But defend Scrub must, and score he must, as he's currently tied up in game 4, on the hunt for a game win to tie up the series. This time the shot by Fairy is saved by the bar. Scrubkiller looking for a counter attack, but Fairy Peak smells weakness, and he immediately closes the distance and flicks it over the top of a standstill Scrub. And it's all set up by a great offensive read by Fairy. He knew that Scrubkiller wanted to dribble him. He wanted a little bit of space to work with, so he did not give it to him. I'm sure if Scrub was planning a long shot, Fairy would have seen that coming as well. He does not get surprised, but that is certainly going to work. Scrubkiller barrels through Fairy after putting a slow shot on target, and you know, surprise or not, you're going to be pretty hard-pressed to avoid that one, Fairy Peak. 3 minutes and 25 seconds now. It's been close games, but Scrubkiller needs wins in these close games. So So you know that he's not going to get any free wins in this series. Even after taking such a huge lead in game 1, he was still having to fight for it in the final seconds. Hook shot by Fairy just looks way too easy. And this is just a tutorial on what to do against a shadowing opponent. Is cross them over. Fairy Peak, by going over to the right hand side of the field there, makes it so that Scrub is no longer between him and the near post top corner, which was the final destination of the ball. Kickoff goal attempt for Fairy. Scrub saves it. Trailing by a single goal now, and he's going to cross over Fairy. Try and do the same thing as Fairy just did to him. And he will do the same thing! Looks like they're just going to take turns making the same shots. But take note, everyone, because even at the highest level ones, you'll see players going straight down the line at shadowing opponents and wondering, how on earth do I get the ball past this guy? Well, Fairy Peak and Scrub Killer have just shown you one way to do it. And that is, don't go straight at them. Cross over. Take it to the far side so they can't get between you and the ball. Or between you and the near post, rather. Here comes Fairy once again. He's still leading by a single goal. One shot from the kickoff is going to cause a little bit of problems, but Scrub recovers, as always, on the underside of the crossbar to make the follow-up save, and makes another save as well. Half the game gone. Scrub Killer needs to stay composed. He needs to play this as consistently as he can. He's got an open net here. Air rolls to put it on target, and that's going to be the tie game. More pace by Scrub Killer to catch Fairy off guard. And a very good finish as well. He had no boost to help him there, or not much at least. But it didn't matter. His shooting stood up to the task. Fairy Peak in control of another kickoff possession, but Scrub Killer's ball chasing it, and he's going to be rewarded with a goal. And it's just proof, I guess, that ball chasing is the superior strategy. Scrub Killer takes the lead. 6-5 in a game that started so slow. There's been a flurry of goals. Now he wins the kickoff. But Fairy Peak ball chases, and these guys are literally taking turns making the same plays. I don't actually believe it. You guys are going to think this is scripted, but it's not, I swear. So what's it going to be next? I guess whoever scores next is just going to be a spoiler for the following goal as well. Oh, well, that's an easy one. Fairy Peak's just going to collect the ball on the floor and walk it in. And, you know, that might be the end of their little game of horse here, because I don't think that Scrub's going to get that free a goal against Fairy Peak. What was he doing on the wall there? A little bit caught off guard. He's got 2 minutes left to try and remedy the situation. A single goal lead for Fairy Peak, who has managed to sneak the ball off Scrub Killer and the 100 boost as well. But Scrub's got another open net shot, and he's going to put it in. And, you know, I said that he wasn't going to get too many free goals, but that's just about as free as any goal is against Fairy Peak, who panicked a little bit there. He got bumped by Scrub and then looked for a piece of the ball when he landed with no momentum, and he couldn't find it. Minute and 45 now. We're all tied up. This game does not stop going back and forth. Scrub Killer has no dodge left. He's already used both jumps. He's got to be careful here. Fairy Peak will go up, and he does deal with the situation with utmost care. It's more great aerial speed by Scrub Killer. What a pass by Fairy! That might be the best pass I've seen between these two in their entire time as teammates on Rena Vitality. Fairy Peak with the infield pass to Scrub Killer, who puts it past the goalkeeper. 1 minute and 26 seconds left. There's already been 15 goals, and the lead changes hands once again. Scrub Killer wants to add to his lead though, and he will, because Fairy Peak's out of boost. Make it 9-7. It's a 16 goal game. Scrub Killer almost able to tie up the series here. Can he do it? You know it's going to be so difficult, because Fairy Peak's bound to put a whole bunch of shots on target before this game is over. Here comes the first. Fairy Peak goes for the bottom right corner, and Scrub Killer, you can forgive him for conceding this one. These shots are so difficult to save. You just have no idea which way Fairy Peak's going to shoot that when he goes up. It's almost like he hasn't even made up his mind. He's deciding as he flies to the ball. He sees Scrub pre-jumping, so he goes low. Now it's only a 1-goal game, and Fairy Peak is on the ball at the near post. Scrub Killer, 36 boost, makes contact. Fairy Peak steals the 100. He is lurking, he's circling, he's looking for another chance. He shoots it straight at Scrub though. He'll have to try again from the other side. It's more shots for Fairy Peak. Scrub Killer stuck in his goal. He's done really well here. Not just to save those shots, but to get 100 boosts for himself. 37 seconds left. Scrub Killer gets in the way of an air dribble from Fairy. He might have a free goal down the middle, but no, he's not got enough boost to catch it. It's more Fairy Peak dribbling to finish off the game. 24 seconds left. A quick check to see where Scrub is. Led Fairy to believe that he might have an opening down the middle, but that was not the case. Scrub Killer's been pretty fast rotating back, and now he has a chance to run down the clock like he did in game 1. This is so smart by Scrub. He doesn't want to allow Fairy Peak any real opportunities to challenge him head on, and he's going to make it as difficult as humanly possible for Fairy to get the tie game here, and just like that, Scrub Killer does it. We are all tied up. The best of 7 is now a best of 3. Game 5 of a possible 7. Scrub Killer so far has gone toe-to-toe with the best 1v1 player on the planet, and the player who has always had his number in series when they've played in the past. You know, the closer and closer they get to the ace match, maybe the more Scrub Killer is favoured, because he does seem to have a better record against Fairy when it's just a single game. You know, that being said, Fairy has won Game 7s against Scrub in the past during series. Look at that recovery by Scrub Killer. He's absorbed Fairy's challenge and exploded out of it to put in a goal of his own. How did Scrub recover so well here? That's very, very quickly done to take the lead in Game 5. You know, we've been thinking about the mentality aspect of this game a lot from Scrub's perspective so far today, but at some point you have to wonder, what will Fairy do? Is he going to get even is he going to start questioning his ability to win this? Because no doubt at the moment he doesn't. He probably has full confidence in his ability to win this one. Scrub Killer accidentally double jumping there. He meant to dodge into the ball, of course. The race to the corner boost will be won by Scrub though. We've got a 2-goal lead for Scrub as we get almost a full minute into the game. He's refusing to 50-50 with Fairy right now. He really does not want to have to accept a 50-50 on Fairy's terms. He wants to do it on his terms. And here comes Scrub, dodging into position with a touch that will put Fairy in a precarious position, but there's no real follow-up power by Scrub Killer there. He's still in control of all the boost, and that is going to give him another open net. Scrub Killer with a demo, and the open net finish is starting to flex on Fairy in Game 5. Really nice play by Scrub. He didn't take any real risks in that exchange, which is the thing that impresses me most. So he needs to do to beat Fairy. But look at that. Fairy's managed to find a way to score from a position that he looked second best in. He spotted a chance to backflip through the ball and put it on target. And he's made it a 2-goal game again. Another kickoff to follow. Fairy Peak will win that. Suddenly, Scrub Killer looks like you would rather the 2-0 lead, because Fairy Peak coming at you from a kickoff is not where you want to be. And it's quickly dropped down to a 1-goal lead. Scrub Killer refused to mix up his kickoff against Ocelon when things started going wrong that day. Will he mix it up against Fairy today. So far, it's just been standard play from both on the face-offs. It's actually Fairy who historically has mixed things up more in that regard, but not seen any need for him to really do that yet. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Hang on, Scrub Killer is gonna fix himself another quick goal. Outplaying Fairy off the wall. That was very, very difficult to do for Fairy Peak, but he has managed. Fairy Peak's going to get a goal back on the kickoff to make it a 1-goal game. And it's still the same question. Is Scrub going to change his kickoff play? Is he going to change his kickoff plan, or is he just going to keep on going for straight up kickoffs? At least he is changing which side he's pushing the ball. He's not always trying to force the ball through the opposite side where he's spawning. So look here, he's on the right. Push kickoff would be putting it to the left. A hook would be putting it to the right. There he does switch it up and put it to the left. That's not his favourite side to do it, but it's worked out because Fairy's compensated to counter Scrub's favourite kickoff strategy. It's exactly what Scrub needed. The 2-goal lead is still firmly within his control. He has the ball and the boost, and he also has Fairy in his sights, so he's going to be able to run away from that demo. He's jumped off the wall though, and this is a little bit risky now. He's landed in a very awkward spot, but he escapes with his life and still has Fairy on the back foot. Scrub's leaving a couple of small boost pads for Fairy, but he's stolen away the big ones every time that he can. And here comes Fairy down the middle. He doesn't have 100 boost though, so he can't really do too much with this attack. He's managed to get the ball past Scrub, who was trying to counter. Scrub isn't falling for any of Fairy's tricks right now. He's not getting too baited by all of the touches that Fairy's trying to surprise him with. And Scrub might have surprised Fairy again. It's saved by the post this time. This is really less than ideal for Fairy. He's been backed off into the halfway line. And just like that, Scrub Killer takes a 3-goal lead. What will Fairy Peak do now? Looks like, for the time being, he's got a real problem dealing with Scrub Killer's midfield play, because the speed advantage is quite clear for Scrub today. There's no doubt about that. It's also a combination of having a good read on Fairy, and that air dribble will make it 7-3. Scrub Killer from his own half gets 3 touches on the ball, and the last one was more than Fairy expected. 1 minute and 10 seconds now for the great Frenchman to try and come back in game 5, or else he'll need 2 in a row to win the series. After a perfect league play, after only dropping 2 games in 7 best-of-5s in a row, he's on the verge of losing a 3rd in a single best-of-7, but he's not going to let it happen just yet. Scrub Killer falls prey to a quick turnaround and a very well-placed flick. It's now 7-4 in favour of Scrub. Times like this, I would love to see a fake kickoff, not going to lie. Think of what's going to happen most of the time in a fake kickoff is the ball's going to roll to Scrub's back corner, and you go straight into that kind of play style where the ball's running around the field and both players are chasing after it, and that's what Scrub needs right now. He doesn't need goals, but he might get goals. Indeed, he will get one more goal, and he's going to slow roll it. Scrub Killer with a mind game from close range to add to his already impressive tally. Fairy Peak is in a really, really rough spot now with how well Scrub has been playing in the past couple of games, especially how disciplined he's looked, how sharp his mechanics have looked. This now really does become a question of how far is Fairy Peak willing to go to try and make goals possible. What risks is he willing to take? What shots is he willing to make? Is he going to just keep on playing solid? Or is he going to try and surprise Scrub with something extraordinary? Try and get him thinking too much about what is happening. But hang on a second, Fairy might not be done with this game. He might have to be now, as Scrub Killer has saved another kickoff goal attempt. But hang on a second, Fairy Peak almost squeaks in another goal on the follow-up. But it will be Scrub Killer winning game 5. And would you believe it, Fairy Peak is on the verge of elimination. Scrub Killer has double match point. One more game is all that Scrub needs to put to bed one of his biggest Rocket League achievements. Beating Fairy Peak in a series. You know, it might not seem like much, just beat one player when you think of what Scrub's accomplished in the past, but Fairy's just had so many wins against Scrub. And it definitely will be a big, big one if Scrub can take it today. He's managed to get a real chance to take a lead, but Fairy Peak stops him short of a 1-goal lead early in game 6. Scrub looking so composed right now, though, so clinical. I think that the extra pressure almost working in his favor here. And this is, of course, an all-new environment. This isn't a show match, this is a tournament with more money on the line than Scrub has played for in any one tournament besides 12 Titans Year 2. Well, he will get one past Fairy. Barely. But barely is still good enough. Scrub Killer starts strong in this game. Fairy Peak really has to change something and change it fast. He's got a real chance here. Scrub Killer with a great save, though. Fairy Peak's flicks are fast. They're very, very close to the goal. He somehow manages to keep it accurate and low, despite the fact that he plays a long car. But it's starting to fail against Scrub Killer's expert goalkeeping. We saw so many good saves in the Ocelon vs Scrub series from both players. Scrub Killer, with the amount of good saves he's had in this series as well, might just be goalkeeper of the tournament. It's Fairy trying to find a way past him. Scrub Killer pre-jumps, but it's not going to work because Fairy has flicked it into the top corner with utmost precision. Cutting it one way, switching it back the other way, because I think Scrub might have made contact with that one if Fairy didn't get the last touch. Get the last touch is exactly what Fairy did. Now he's coming again. Straight down the middle. Scrub Killer closes the distance, but only gets a 50-50. Fairy Peak still has the ball. And he has it past Scrub. That might be open. It is open, but Fairy Peak can't quite put it in. You know what? He might have actually saved his own shot there in a pretty crazy interaction with the post and the crossbar. It would have been unbelievably impressive if Fairy had managed to put that one in. But it looks like it might have just been unbelievably unlucky, as he looks like he's post-pinched it out. I have to watch that one again to see exactly what happened. For the time being, we're all tied up in game 6. Fairy Peak's going to take the lead, though. He spots Scrub Killer coming in sideways. A really careless challenge by Scrub, because Fairy Peak's got him in plain vision there. Need to be a little bit more deceptive, a little bit more patient, wait for the spots like he did in the previous 2 games. Scrub Killer with an early chance of his own. He's got the ball past Fairy, but Fairy has all the boost to recover with. Fairy Peak pressuring again. Scrub Killer doesn't just want to save this, he wants to take control and have a chance to put a shot on Fairy's net. These are the things you need to do against Fairy. You can't just save his shots, you have to save them and then try to control the ball whenever possible, because if you don't, you're not going to get to see any possession for the entire 5 minutes of gameplay. Scrub not able to get a demo on Fairy this time. That's something that's worked really well for him so far this series. Sneak in a couple of demos here and there. This time his challenge is successful, but the ball runs to safety in the back left corner. Scrub, aerial play to get it over the top. He's rebounded it into position for Fairy to center. And lo and behold, it's another Vitality team play. The 1-2 this time. And the defense was not at home when Scrubkiller arrived for the finish. He's 1 goal in 1 minute and 40 seconds away from winning the entire tournament. But Fairy Peak is not done yet. And Scrubkiller finally makes a misplay in defense. With how well he's been playing, I would not have been surprised to see him save this. But he's jumped ahead of the ball and only gone and put it in his own net. Fairy Peak back in the lead, looking to tie up the series. Just has to hold on here. As Fairy Peak finds a way to come out of this corner with the 100 boost and the ball. He's got Scrub in a very awkward spot now. Just boxing him in, trying to keep him from attacking with a 100 boost. And Scrub doesn't have a 100 boost right now. That's why Fairy's making these challenges so freely, so comfortably. Now, even though Scrub does have a 100 boost, he can't really do much with it. And there's just Team Vitality team plays for days in Game 6. Scrubkiller passing it down to Fairy, who slots it in the bottom corner. And it's a 2-goal lead for Fairy Peak. Looks like Game 7 might be the place where this tournament is decided. Scrubkiller still has an outside chance to win it in 6. He needs to do a lot better than he is right now, though, because once again, Fairy Peak puts it under him with a low 50-50. It's so smart by Fairy. When he sees Scrub committing to the wall here, he knows that the low 50-50 is going to work a significant amount of the time, as even if Scrub does dodge into the ball off the wall, there's a good chance he's going to bounce off it. Fairy can just force it underneath him or force it through him. 50 seconds now for Scrub to try and come back with. Just doesn't look possible. Fairy Peak's going to muscle in another goal. And Scrubkiller might have to start thinking about Game 6. Everything he's done this game has resulted in a huge deficit. 4 goals, 48 seconds, another kickoff possession for Fairy. Surely that will be the confirmation of Game 6. Scrubkiller is trying desperately to attack as quickly as possible. Fairy Peak has avoided the demo, and unless we see another Team Vitality team play, looks like he's going to be avoiding conceding as well. 26 seconds now. Still that 4-goal lead for Fairy. Soon to be 5 if he doesn't miss this one. He will just slot it in slowly. That will be Game 6 to Fairy Peak. And I don't really know who to put my money on in the final here. It's so hard to call with how well Scrub has done in high pressure situations against Fairy in the past. But then you look at Fairy Peak's record in their show match history. Those are sometimes a bit more of the friendly match style, but sometimes more of a, or really are going to be hard fought 1v1 series. Scrub wants a consolation goal here. He's just going to drop it and accept his fate. And we are going to Game 7. Game 7, Fairy Peak versus Scrubkiller. Who will be the champion of Europe? We have 1 game left in the tournament to decide. Fairy Peak showing Scrub a lot of respect here, not even going up for that rebound. Full knowledge that Scrub was likely to make the save. Scrub is in a really awkward spot now. Fairy Peak shoots from distance. It's a powerful shot at that. Scrub will save for now. Fairy Peak threatening again. Scrubkiller dodging back to save boost and then uses his boost to reach the ball. What has he got planned here? Scrubkiller just bouncing a shot towards Fairy's net, and Fairy's save doesn't look too confident. Scrubkiller up for the rebound, but he's passed it right to Fairy. Fast recovery was absolutely necessary there. Scrub now running away from the demo. He's got the ball in his own half, and he's going to try and cross over Fairy, but Fairy closes the gap before Scrub can complete that. That might be on target. Scrub has to be careful here. Does hit the post. Now, Scrub Killer has Fairy standing right in front of him as he tries to attack. Fairy Peak gets a strong challenge in. Scrub caught a piece of him, and he's going to look for another. He has to make a save on a slow shot just to keep Fairy back for the time being. One boost for Scrub against Fairy Peak's advantage. Fairy looking to get the 100 on spawn, but it looks like Scrub got it. As the boost appeared, Scrub drove over it. They knew that it was coming. Both players were fighting for it. This is just becoming such a game of respect. But Fairy Peak takes the first goal. Scrub Killer didn't want to commit too early in case Fairy beats him to it. But it ends up that he commits too late. He got Fairy to do what he wanted. Fairy hit the ball away from himself, but before Scrub could make his move and get an interception, Fairy Peak recovered. Look at that though. Scrub's dodged underneath Fairy and tied the game after a kickoff. Fairy Peak was not ready for that one. Scrub Killer tripping him up. And we are all tied up. 3 minutes and 17 seconds left in the game, which will decide the entire tournament. And of course, it had to be Fairy versus Scrub at the end of the day. Putting on another great show for us. Scrub will have the next chance. He's on the wall with lots of options, but the ball was quite far off the wall. He's using so much boost here, but he gets it over the top. Scrub Killer into the crossbar with an air dribble. And he's going to run back now because Fairy Peak is coming straight for him. But is that forced own goal by Scrub? Fairy Peak has just put it in his own net. And I think there may have been shenanigans here. Indeed there were. Fairy Peak just getting tagged on the back end of his car there by Scrub Killer as he was jumping to get the ball to safety. And since he was knocked into the air by Scrub, what he intended to be a jump became a dodge and put the ball into his own net. He's coming back now towards Scrub though, getting Scrub to cross over twice, but great control by Scrub. And Fairy's missed the boost steal. That is huge. So now Scrub can come straight at him. If I'm Scrub here, I just want to try and waste some time, frustrate Fairy, because he's done really well. Whenever Scrub has wasted time this series, just taking the ball to safe locations and force Fairy into challenges, he has profited. And albeit that was at the end of games when Fairy's taking risks. Would not mind seeing Scrub try that in the middle of a game. Long shot. Open for Scrub. Fairy Peak makes it back in time and controls it on the ground, but Scrub comes in for the demo and now he has the open net just for a moment, and he's not going to miss this one. 3-1 Scrub Killer. Fairy Peak on the ropes. 1 minute and 57 seconds left is a long time in 1v1. But this has been a low scoring game. These players are not taking many risks in game 7. But Fairy Peak's flick is still so good. And in a massively pressure situation, he launches it over Scrub Killer. He knows that if he lands badly there, it's probably going to be a goal for Scrub. If he hits the bar, it's probably going to be a goal for Scrub. But I can guarantee you that wasn't even a thought in Fairy Peak's mind. All he sees is himself scoring. Chance now for Fairy. Tie the game. He has 100 boost and the possession of the ball. Scrub Killer is going to try and make it awkward for him, and he gets a touch. So send it cleared over Fairy Peak's backboard. Minute 28 now. Scrub on the ball. Fairy Peak comes in for a challenge, but Scrub absorbs it and puts it into the goal. And it's now 4-2 in favour of Scrub Killer. And believe it or not, it's Fairy Peak who's making the small misplays at the end of the game. He needs to make some big plays now to remedy those. And he has 80 seconds left to do it. A kickoff win is going to help him immensely. The Scrub Killer's ball chasing. And he's going to put another shot on net. That is the 5th goal for Scrub. He just snuck up on Fairy with no boost. And Fairy Peak will regret leaving that ball in the midfield. He did not need to do that. He could have hit it and taken it with him to the sidewall. It was his own decision to leave it in the midfield. Try and get boost and then turn around for the dribble. Fairy Peak's got the ball under Scrub again. Boost advantage for Scrub Killer this time, and he's going to make that work in his favour. Fairy Peak's used a lot of boost to try and catch Scrub with the demo, but he's got plenty left over to attack with. Inside the final minute now. Is this the day when Scrubkilla finally beats Fairy Peak? It's looking like it. The more seconds go by, it's Fairy Peak. Is it an awkward spot? But oh, Scrubkilla's own goal. An outrageous own goal at that. How does he put that on target? I don't even know how he managed that. But now Scrubkilla has to worry about kickoff goals and kickoff possessions. He's won the kickoff, which is really going to help him out. But Fairy Peak's landed on him and he has 100 boost. He could just go for the demo here. Fairy Peak trying to get the ball past Scrub. 25 seconds left. Scrubkilla hanging on for dear life. Fairy Peak is coming at him straight down the middle yet again. We might have a nail-biting finish here. Fairy Peak shoots it straight at Scrub though. He was trying to catch Scrub pre-jumping. And now Scrubkilla has a huge advantage. He just needs the clock to hit 0. And he doesn't even need to wait for that because he's scored a 6th goal. And Scrubkilla will be the Mannfield Night 5K champion. He will beat Fairy Peak in a series. All good things must come to an end, and the most dominant player in Rocket League 1v1 history has been defeated by his teammate, Scrubkilla. Congratulations to Scrubkilla, your Mannfield Night 5K champion. He goes home with $1,500 and a series win against Fairy Peak to brag about. Commiserations to Fairy on losing today. You may still be the best ones player in the world, and one close series loss is just a speck on your incredibly impressive resume. I want to give a big thanks to all the players who took part in the tournament and gave us so many good plays and matches to enjoy and look back on. And a special thank you to Gift Your Game for giving the players something besides pride to play for. And perhaps a biggest thank you to you, Rocket League viewers, because without you there wouldn't be a professional scene, far less a 1v1 scene. I sincerely hope you've enjoyed the Mannfield Night 5K despite the fact that it was a bit of a last minute production, and I do feel that there's a lot I can improve on for future seasons, whatever and whenever they may be. For now though, it's goodbye from me. Hopefully I'll see you around my Twitch and YouTube channels again in the future. This has been the Mannfield Night 5K. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.